Welcome back to Byte-Sized Tech. Feels like every week there's some crazy new AI thing that just blows your mind.
Totally.
And today we're going to do a deep dive into a couple of those mind-blowing advancements.
Right.
You know, you shared some articles with me about AI agents and self-driving cars, and this stuff is straight out of a sci-fi movie, except it's happening like right now.
It really is an exciting time to be following all this stuff. What I think is really fascinating is we're seeing the very first examples of AI actually taking action in the real world. So not just like processing information, but actually doing things.
Yeah.
That's a huge leap in AI development, and it can change everything.
Okay, so let's unpack this a little bit.
Yeah.
One of the articles you sent me was about Google building an AI agent called Jarvis. What is that all about?
So, Jarvis, imagine having an AI assistant that lives inside your Chrome browser.
No.
It can see what's on your screen. It can understand what you're trying to do. And then actually use your computer for you.
Wow.
So things like filling out expense reports, scheduling appointments, ordering groceries online. Jarvis could handle all that.
So it's basically like having a personal assistant who's also like a tech whiz.
Exactly. And it's a really powerful concept. And Google's not the only one working on this. You know, companies like OpenAI and Anthropic are also developing these AI agent capabilities.
Wow.
And even Apple is rumored to be working on AI for iPhones that can interact with apps.
That's wild. But hold on a sec.
Yeah.
Isn't there like a potential downside to all this AI autonomy? What about security risks?
Yeah, that's a really important point to consider. Because as AI agents get more sophisticated and they get access to more of our data and our systems, security becomes really important. We've already seen examples where programmers have tricked AI agents into downloading malware.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, robust security measures are going to be absolutely essential as this technology develops.
That makes a lot of sense. So AI agents could be super helpful.
Yeah.
We got to be mindful of the risks.
Yeah.
Now let's switch gears for a moment and talk about OpenAI.
Okay.
They just raised a massive round of funding, giving them a valuation of $157 billion. Why is that?
Yeah, so from an investor's perspective, it's a bet on the future of AGI, artificial general intelligence, which is basically the holy grail of AI. It's the idea of creating an AI that is as intelligent as a human being, or potentially even more intelligent. So investors are betting that OpenAI will be the first to achieve AGI, and that whoever wins that race, the AGI race, is going to totally dominate the tech world.
So it's like a gold rush for AGI, and OpenAI is seen as the front runner? That's a lot of pressure.
It is, but it's important to remember that there's a huge difference between like a groundbreaking technology and a successful business. We're still very early in AGI development. And there are a lot of hurdles to overcome before it becomes a reality. And even if AGI is achieved, it doesn't automatically mean financial success. Remember what happened with the dot-com bubble? Plenty of companies back then with amazing technology went bust.
A healthy dose of skepticism is always a good thing.
Definitely.
Now let's bring this back to Google for a second. They've got this new AI model called Gemini 2.0 that's supposed to be like the brains behind Jarvis. What can you tell us about that?
So Gemini 2.0 is set to launch in December alongside Jarvis. But here's something interesting. Despite all the hype, it's not showing the performance gains that a lot of experts expected.
Wait, seriously?
Yeah.
So all this anticipation for a potentially underwhelming upgrade?
Well, not necessarily. While the raw performance gains may not be groundbreaking, Gemini 2.0 is expected to have some new and interesting capabilities. Google's being pretty tight-lipped about the specifics, but the rumors are definitely intriguing.
Ooh, little mystery to keep us on the edge of our seats. I like it. It is interesting that Google's releasing Gemini 2.0 widely, right from the start. They didn't do that with their previous models. What do you make of that?
I think it points to a larger trend that we're seeing in the AI world, where developers are racing to create these bigger and more expensive models. Even as the performance improvements are starting to level off, it raises some interesting questions about where AI development is headed. Are we focusing too much on size and scale at the expense of other types of innovation?
Food for thought, for sure.
Yeah.
So bigger isn't always better in the world of AI.
It seems that way.
It sounds like things are still pretty unpredictable. And there's no clear roadmap.
Absolutely. We're in uncharted territory, and there's no guarantee that any one approach is going to lead to AGI. It's a fascinating time to be watching all of this unfold.
For sure. And speaking of fascinating developments, you also sent me an article about Waymo. They've been quietly building this really awesome driverless taxi service that people actually love using.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
And now they just raised a whopping $5.6 billion to expand their operations.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money to invest in robot taxis.
It is, and I think it highlights the intensifying race for robotaxi dominance in the U.S. Waymo is already operating in several major cities,
Okay.
and they've racked up millions of miles driving autonomously.
Yeah.
So this new capital is going to allow them to scale even further.
So picture this. You're living in a city where robotaxis are as common as regular taxis. You need a ride. You just hail a driverless car.
Yeah.
Sit back, relax, maybe even catch up on some work or read a book.
Right.
No more stressful commutes.
Exactly.
No more parking nightmares.
It's a really appealing vision.
Right. But it does raise some important questions.
It does.
Like what will happen to traditional taxi drivers?
Yeah.
How will this impact traffic congestion and urban planning?
Yeah, those are really important questions.
It's definitely like a double-edged sword. On the one hand, it's exciting to think about the potential benefits.
Yeah.
Fewer accidents, less congestion, more accessibility.
Right.
But on the other hand, it's a little daunting to think about the potential disruption and job displacement.
Yeah, it's a classic example of technology disrupting the status quo.
Right.
You know, we saw it with the rise of the internet, and we're seeing it again with AI.
Well, that's all the time we have for this part of our deep dive.
Okay.
But before we move on, I'm really curious to hear your thoughts. What stood out to you the most from our conversation so far?
For me, it's the sheer pace of innovation in the AI space. Like from AI agents that can use our computers to self-driving taxis that are already on the road. Things are moving incredibly fast.
Yeah.
Makes you wonder what's next.
Yeah.
And how will these advances shape our lives in the years to come?
Those are great questions. We'll definitely need to ponder those a bit more. We'll be back in just a moment to continue our deep dive.
Sounds good.
So don't go anywhere.
Yeah. It's like watching a science fiction movie unfold in real time, isn't it?
Yeah.
And to your point about what's next, even though Gemini 2.0 might not be this huge like performance leap, the AI landscape is constantly shifting.
Yeah.
There's always something new right around the corner.
Exactly. And sometimes those advancements come from kind of unexpected places. Like take Apple, for example.
Yeah.
They've been relatively quiet on the AI front compared to like Google and OpenAI.
Right.
But they're clearly working on some interesting things.
Yeah.
Remember that article you shared with me about the AI for iPhones that can like interact with apps?
Yeah.
That could be a real game changer.
Absolutely. Imagine being able to tell your phone, hey, order me a pizza and like find a funny movie to watch. And it just takes care of everything for you.
Right.
That seamless integration is what we've all been dreaming of.
Totally.
But of course, there are always two sides to the coin.
Right. What are some of the downsides we should be thinking about?
Well, one of the biggest concerns is data privacy and control.
Okay.
You know, how much access will these AI agents have to our personal information? Will they be able to make decisions on our behalf without like our explicit consent? These are all questions that we really need to be asking as this technology becomes more common.
Yeah, finding that balance between convenience and protecting our privacy is going to be key.
Absolutely.
Speaking of balance, let's circle back to OpenAI for a moment.
Okay.
Their valuation is like through the roof.
Yeah.
But as you mentioned earlier, there's no guarantee that technological innovation automatically equals a successful business.
Exactly. Remember the dot-com bubble?
Yeah.
Lots of companies with amazing technology back then, but they couldn't figure out how to make money.
Yeah.
So the question for OpenAI is, how are they actually going to turn these groundbreaking AI models into profitable ventures?
That's the billion-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah. Literally. One possibility is that they'll license their technology to other companies.
Oh, okay.
You know, we're already seeing that with ChatGPT.
Right.
Which is being integrated into all sorts of products and services.
Yeah, like all those AI-powered writing assistants and customer service chatbots.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But they also face competition from companies like Google and Microsoft, who are developing their own powerful AI models.
Right.
So it's a high-stakes race to see who can create the most advanced and versatile AI and then figure out how to monetize it in a way that's sustainable and ethical.
It's a lot to think about.
It is.
And it really underscores just how rapidly the AI landscape is evolving. I
Yeah.
mean, we're just beginning to see the potential impact
For sure.
that it's going to have on our lives.
It's exciting and a little bit intimidating, isn't it? Like, what will the world look like in 10 years
Right.
if AI keeps advancing at this rate?
Yeah.
Will our jobs be taken over by robots?
Maybe not robot butlers, but who knows?
Okay.
I think the important thing is that we stay informed and that we have these conversations about the ethical and societal implications of AI.
Absolutely.
We need to make sure that these technologies are being developed and used in ways that actually benefit all of humanity.
Yeah.
It's not just about cool gadgets
Sure.
and futuristic possibilities.
Mm-hmm.
It's about using AI responsibly to solve real-world problems and create a better future.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
It's about finding ways to use this incredible power for good.
Right.
And that brings us back to the topic of AI agents.
Yeah.
They really do have the potential to automate tasks, increase efficiency,
Right.
and free up our time for more meaningful pursuits.
Right. Imagine a world where AI is handling all the tedious stuff,
Yeah.
like scheduling appointments, paying bills, filtering out spam.
Right.
That would leave us with more time to focus on the things that we actually enjoy.
It's a really appealing vision, but we also need to acknowledge that there are going to be challenges along the way. We have to think about the potential for job displacement that could occur as AI automates certain tasks.
Right.
And we also need to make sure that these AI agents are designed with safety and security in mind.
Yeah. It's a delicate balancing act.
For sure.
But I think it's important to approach these developments with like a critical but optimistic mindset.
Yeah.
We need to be realistic about the risks, but also open to the incredible opportunities that AI presents.
It's a time of massive change and disruption. It's also a time of tremendous potential.
Right.
Now, shifting gears once more.
Okay.
Let's revisit Waymo and their ambitious plans for driverless taxis.
Okay.
Their recent funding round suggests that they're not content with just being a small player in this space.
Right.
They're aiming for widespread adoption.
Yeah.
And this new capital will help them get there.
So what would it actually take for robotaxis to become like the norm in cities all across the U.S.? What are some of the hurdles they still need to overcome?
Well, one of the biggest challenges is public perception.
Okay.
People need to feel safe and comfortable trusting their lives to a driverless car.
Right.
And that requires building a track record of safety and reliability.
Yeah. It is a big leap of faith for a lot of people.
Yeah.
I could definitely see how some folks might be hesitant to get in a car with no one behind the wheel.
Right. It's a pretty radical concept when you think about it.
Yeah.
So how do companies like Waymo actually gain the public's trust?
Well, it all comes down to demonstrating that the technology is safe and reliable.
Okay.
So they're investing heavily in rigorous safety testing and data collection, trying to prove that their driverless systems can handle all sorts of real-world scenarios.
Right.
Because even one high-profile accident
Yeah.
could really damage public perception
Right.
and set the whole industry back years.
That makes sense. Are there any other obstacles besides public trust?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
There are also a lot of regulatory hurdles.
And those vary from state to state.
Right.
And then there are also infrastructure considerations.
Okay.
Not all roads are ideal for autonomous driving.
So it's a complex issue with lots of moving parts.
Yeah, for sure.
But if companies like Waymo can figure it all out, the benefits could be huge.
Oh, without a doubt. Imagine fewer traffic accidents, reduced congestion, increased accessibility for people who can't drive themselves.
Right.
It has the potential to completely transform transportation as we know it.
That's a pretty exciting vision of the future.
Yeah.
Okay, before we wrap up our deep dive,
Right.
there's one more piece of the AI puzzle I think we should discuss.
Okay.
And that's Google's upcoming Gemini 2.0. It's launching pretty soon, and it's going to be powering Google's Jarvis AI agent for Chrome.
Yeah, and what's interesting about that is despite all the anticipation, Gemini 2.0 isn't showing the performance gains that a lot of experts had hoped for.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
So it's not going to be as big of a leap forward as everyone was expecting.
Well, it seems that way. It looks like the performance improvements are starting to plateau.
Okay.
Even though developers are continuing to build these bigger and more expensive models.
So it sounds like we're hitting a bit of a plateau in AI development.
Yeah, maybe.
Why do you think that's happening?
That's the million-dollar question. It could be that we're reaching the limits of current approaches.
Okay.
Or it could be that we need to rethink our methods altogether.
So what are some of the alternative approaches that are being explored right now?
Well, one area of focus is on developing more efficient AI models
Okay.
that can achieve similar or better performance, but with less computational power.
Right.
That's important for making AI more sustainable
Yeah.
and more accessible.
Right.
And another area of research is focusing on transparency and explainability.
Okay.
So basically trying to make AI decision-making processes more understandable to humans, which is really crucial for building trust in AI systems, especially in fields like healthcare and finance.
Right, where the stakes are high.
Exactly.
So the future of AI isn't just about creating like bigger and more powerful models.
Right.
It's also about exploring new approaches
Yeah.
that address these crucial aspects
Sure.
of responsibility, sustainability, and societal impact.
Absolutely. We're entering a new phase of AI development that goes beyond just raw capability
Right.
and focuses on how AI can actually be used to benefit humanity as a whole.
Well said. It's a fascinating time to be alive, that's for sure.
It really is.
Well, that wraps up our deep dive for today. A big thanks to you for joining me
My pleasure.
as we explored the world of AI agents, robotaxis, and the future of AI.
It's been a great conversation.
Thanks for tuning into Byte-Sized Tech. If you enjoyed our deep dive, like, comment, share, and subscribe for more fun tech discussions.